We're back with more Gumball. For those of you who watched our previous video, you may have noticed that there are so many more Gumball references still left for us to talk about. Well, thanks to your comments, we have 11 more for you right here. And for those of you who are just joining us, get ready for your minds to be blown. Hi, I'm Jacob with Channel Frederator, and today we're going through another round of Gumball's amazing world of memes and references because, what the heck, they're just that good. One might even call them amazing. The Last of Us in The Parasite, Season 4, Episode 25, submitted by Destiny's Fate. Flashback to the summer of 2013 when it was just you, your PlayStation, and the hit survival horror game The Last of Us. Don't you recall all those sleepless nights protecting sweet, too precious for this world Ellie from harm? Good times. Actually, they were horrifying, emotionally devastating times, but the game was great. Now, flash forward to your binging Gumball. In the episode The Parasite, Gumball and Darwin read Anais's diary to discover that she's being pushed around by the so-called school parasite, Jody, a new friend clearly feeding off Anais's social anxiety. Gumball and Darwin step in to try to explain to Anais that Jody is a parasite, but in doing so, they end up describing and morphing into something much more despicable and capable of going berserk, the Clicker. Gumball's fusion with Darwin is a clear shout-out to the popular game and its creepiest enemy type. He even goes further to admit that he stole that last part from a zombie video game just in case the reference wasn't clear. Yeah, so don't go playing in the dark with Darwin and Gumball. Miyazaki in The Shell, Season 3, Episode 20, submitted by Jared Sombrano. Hayao Miyazaki's films are known for their magical plots and breathtaking animation, and this episode of Gumball checks off all of those things. In The Shell, Gumball, in a botched kiss, breaks Penny's shell, revealing parts of her true form. When she decides to free herself entirely, Penny mistakenly takes Gumball's surprise for disgust and flees. Penny's sequences in this episode are extremely reminiscent to Studio Ghibli's own imagery, like the wolves in Princess Mononoke or Haku's transformation to his dragon form in Spirited Away. Gumball's kiss at the end of the episode also alludes to Sophie kissing Howl in Howl's Moving Castle, calling Penny back to her original form. Ben Boclet, the creator of The Amazing World of Gumball, has even gone so far to describe the episode as Miyazaki-esque, a wonderful tribute to a truly inspirational studio. Street Fighter in The Words, Season 2, Episode 12, submitted by Sonic Boy 13. If there ever was a game that brought out your inner warrior and love for 8-bit soundbites, Street Fighter is the one that dominates all. The legendary fighting franchise has plenty of cameos within popular shows, from the Shoryuken move and regular show to the design of Rumble McSkirmish, taken mostly from Ryu and Sagat in Gravity Falls. In The Amazing World of Gumball, however, the reference to the game series is much more explicit. In the episode The Words, Gumball attempts to teach Darwin to be more direct, but instead Darwin just becomes mean. The two proceed to engage in a Street Fighter-like battle, verbally assaulting each other with Hadouken attacks. Gumball then proceeds to take out his brother with a Psycho Crusher Hurricane Kick combo attack, a pretty devastating move, and some choice words to go with it. Afterwards, the two finally make amends, but please don't try this at home, the fighting or the hurling insults. Both are bad ideas. Luigis Mansion in The Flower, Season 2, Episode 5. Thought we were done with the video game references? You must be new here. In case you've forgotten, Luigi's Mansion is a 2001 video game produced by Nintendo following Mario's brother Luigi on his mission to save Mario from a mansion full of evil ghosts. He manages to navigate through the haunted halls with his handy Poltergust 3000, a vacuum cleaner that traps ghastly ghouls along with some other sweet items throughout the game. In the episode The Flower, Gumball gets possessed by his own personified jealousy when the gentle Leslie makes some moves on Gumball's crush, Penny. Following a series of wicked events, Carrie captures Gumball and gathers everyone around to perform an exorcism to call the toxic jealousy out of his body. While jealousy is successfully sucked out in a ghost-like form, the reference is further established with Leslie's very own poltergust, I mean vacuum cleaner. Although he doesn't quite catch jealousy, it's good to know that all of us are capable of rescuing our friends from evil spirits, you know, just as long as we have a vacuum cleaner. Ridiculously photogenic guy, aka Zeddy Little in The Photo, Season 2, Episode 25. Even the oldest internet memes can't escape the Gumball treatment. In the episode The Photo, it's picture day, and Gumball gets himself some pretty awful photos taken. Awful as in, wow, I thought I was watching a cartoon, not a horror movie. We've all been there. Later in the episode, he tries to get a few tips from Alan, who looks absolutely flawless in any photo that's ever taken of him, even if he's off guard. One of these photos, which shows him running track, is very reminiscent of the ridiculously photogenic guy, real name Zeddy Little. On March 31st of 2012, Zeddy became an image macro meme when a photographer captured a particularly flattering image of him running a marathon. The photo was then posted to Reddit and quickly spread to all corners of the internet thereafter. Don't worry, Gumball, we can totally relate to you. Seriously, who looks that handsome them when running a marathon. Where do these people get their faces? Final Fantasy in the Console, Season 5, Episode 18, submitted by Lone3x3. While we've learned that Gumball referencing old 90s games is nothing out of the norm, there is a whole episode titled The Console that is specifically devoted to the gaming genre of Japanese role-playing games. More specifically, the Final Fantasy franchise. For instance, many of the episode's mechanics and visual styles match those found within the early Final Fantasy games. When Gumball summons his friends during the final battle of the episode, Banana Joe's attack, 1000 Blows, looks extremely similar to the Cactuar's 1000 Needles summon attack from Final Fantasy VIII. Not to mention, the final boss itself looks extremely similar to Final Fantasy VII's own Genova Synthesis boss battle. Still not convinced? Well, while mentioning that they should beat the game before they grow anime hair, Gumball sports a hairstyle that looks an awful lot like Cloud Strifa's, while Anais bears a somewhat close resemblance to Rosalia from Trinity Universe. At one point, Anais even equips a hat similar to Luso Clemens from Final Fantasy Tactics A2, Grimoire of the Rift, and holds a sword with a trigger hinting to Squall's Gunblade in Final Fantasy VIII. With this episode being absolutely littered with references, we could be here for hours, so tell us, what else did you notice in the console? Pulp Fiction in The Watch, Season 2, Episode 16, submitted by The Shadow of Anarchy. As we've already mentioned in our previous video, references to classic Tarantino movies such as Pulp Fiction are a product of pop culture and thus plentiful in Gumball. The episode The Watch opens with Richard explaining to Gumball the significance of a watch, one of the family treasures that was fought over by the Wattersons and the Finkelheimers. Richard's father won the prize in a yodeling contest and passed it down to Richard himself, turning it into a symbol of inheritance. This scene is reminiscent of Christopher Walken's character, Captain Coons, a Vietnam veteran who passes down a watch to Little Butch after a long dramatic monologue. The story goes that Captain Coons and Butch's father were prisoners of war and the watch was a family heirloom. The only way to save it during wartime was to hide it up their, let's go with rear end here. And since Butch's father died, well, Captain Coons had to, you get the idea. It's actually a really funny scene. Another shout to Pulp Fiction occurs in The Fraud, where Principal Brown's briefcase of confiscated items is similar to the briefcase in Pulp Fiction, where a bright light shines out, never revealing the inside of the case, other than some fireworks and whatever it is that Darwin picks up here. Classic cartoon cinema. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets in The Name, Season 3, Episode 7, submitted by Sea Moose Animations. Is it going to be weird talking about He Who Must Not Be Named in relation to an episode called The Name? Nah, we'll do it anyway. While Gumball might be a series that's jammed with all sci-fi and video game Easter eggs known to man, it doesn't forget the essence of our childhood, which of course leads us to Harry Potter. In the episode The Name, Gumball realizes that his real name isn't Gumball, it's Zack.
Your real name? It's Zack.
This leads him to adopt an alter ego, one that is menacing and truly worthy of being assigned to Slytherin. In an effort to return back to his old self, Gumball and Zack face off in an existential battle of wits, culminating in Gumball entering his old name into an arcade game. With Gumball rejecting his alter ego, Zack suffers a familiar death scene. In fact, the way he bursts into pieces is exactly how Tom Riddle, aka Lord Voldemort, aka He Who Must Not Be Named, gets defeated in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Wow, I guess words can kill, or names, at least. Star Wars Return of the Jedi in The Fridge, Season 2, Episode 4. Yes, more Star Wars. Of course there's more Star Wars. In the episode The Fridge, there are many allusions to the most popular space opera in film history. While Gumball's mother Nicole taunts her son into becoming a winner, she heckles him to make personal use of his anger, similarly to how Darth Vader and Darth Sidious try to persuade Luke to join the dark side in the film Return of the Jedi. Moreover, when Richard asks Gumball to remove his paintball mask after being attacked by Nicole, it mimics Darth Vader's final request for Luke to remove his helmet, also in Return of the Jedi. One might assume that the Force is strong in the Watterson family, and that Gumball himself might very well be the last Jedi. Going to the Store in The Oracle, Season 3, Episode 31, submitted by Jason Carden. If you ever wanted to see an internet treasure brought back to life, it should be clear by now that this show has got all of your weirdly specific needs covered. In The Oracle, after discovering a prophetic painting of himself naked at the mall, Gumball attempts to stay home to avoid the predicted embarrassing fate. After only a few short moments, Gumball's body takes control of his mind and works its way downstairs, evidently as a result of nervous energy. The venture through the house while his body is flailing, along with the accompanying background music, is a reference to the 2011 viral video Going to the Store by David Lewandowski, because if there's anything that perfectly depicts reluctantly going out in public, it's this jelly-legged 3D model going to the store. We can't help but feel Gumball's pain here. The Terminator in The Procrastinators, Season 3, Episode 19, submitted by Jello King. Probably one of the most called-to references in all of television and film, of course, Gumball couldn't stay away from one of cinema's most famous lines ever said,
I'll be back.
In the episode The Procrastinators, Nicole is determined that her children complete their chores, and to make sure they do so, she takes on the persona of Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator, going so far to adopt his trademark glasses and chin. She even calls herself the Termomernator, and like most jokes told by parents, I'm not sure if that wordplay is brilliant or horrible. She leaves, promising in that surly monotone voice to be back at 5 p.m. to examine their progress. True to her word, Nicole does come back, still in Termomernator mode, including her first-person scan that has that threatening red hue of a killer robot. In fact, the Terminator-like scan that their mom used was also the same one we saw Bobbert use in The Bet when hunting down Gumball. So that's 2 episodes that take after the film. And there we have it. Once again, I'm Jacob, and thanks for watching more of Gumball's amazing world of memes and references. Did you like our choices? Do you want to see more? Gumball is absolutely stacked with references, so comment below and let us know what references you've noticed. And maybe we'll be back with more. We have new videos dropping every day, so make sure to subscribe, and don't forget to ring that little bell icon to become part of our notification squad. And remember, Frederator loves you.